Steph Lee, the founder of Host Agency Reviews, and you are teaching. You are tuning in for the Friday 15, where every Friday, 12 p.m. Central Time, we get to answer your questions. So thank you to all of you who have submitted questions. And if you have questions because you have a whole summer in front of you and you've got all these questions, submit them to us. You can go to hostagencyreviews.com slash Friday15, or you can go to the link in the comments. And for those of you that are tuning in on YouTube, you can see, as usual, we have a host and one we haven't seen in a while, but a familiar face. We have Lori Speers with Levarte Travel. Hey, Lori.
Hi, I'm so excited to be back, and I've been gone way too long.
No, we're
I could be
reunited.
on with you every week, and it wouldn't be enough.
We would have a blast. Lori and I were just chatting before this. We're always catching up. So I'm so glad to have you back on. It's wonderful to see your face. And everyone, the questions we have this week are perfect for Lori. So I'm really excited to get to our questions.
I'm excited.
Um, yeah. Okay, so before we do, as usual, I have to do a couple call to actions for HAR. So the first one is we have a new blog post that Mary just finished on the site and completely updated and revamped. And that is how to qualify your clients as a travel advisor.
Mm.
And the best part about it is there are 3 real life examples of advisors that are qualifying their clients. They've taped their recordings with the clients that are in there. So if you're someone that wants to get some ideas on what other advisors doing, or you're brand new and you're thinking, I've read the article on how to qualify clients and this just isn't really connecting, and you're someone that like learns better by listening or watching, definitely tune in to that. We'll drop the link in the comments and the show notes for everybody. And then the last one, we have another blog post that we just published brand new on what is a tour operator. Also in there is what is a DMC, because I know that's a question a lot of people ask. So we'll link to those brand new blogs for you. And Lori, let's get into our questions because we've got good ones today.
All right, and I love the links and your information because it's going to go right in hand with these questions.
I know that I was like, this is whoever asked these questions, the like universe aligned. We got Lori on the call. We have these perfect blog posts that go along with it.
Right.
So our first one is from Camilla S. Camilla asks, I recently joined a host agency exactly 1 month ago, and I do a ton of research, but somehow I feel more lost every day. If there was a place for people to clap in the audience, I think we'd be getting a lot of clapping right now. I feel a little overwhelmed with so much information and access out there that my brain is freezing. I don't know where to start off. So I am doing all at the same time. So I'm doing it all at the same time and freaking out. Do you have a step list of what to do first that you would recommend, like build a website, contracts, forms, service guides, social media trainings, or do I prioritize supplier trainings or destinations? I have a business and social media account set up. I'm queen, but I'm a mess behind it all. I would like to say thank you for this website. It's such a welcoming place where I feel comfortable making silly beginners questions. Not a silly question, right, Lori?
No, no, it's not a silly question at all.
Common.
Actually, right, it's very common. We hear it a lot, and right at that 30-day mark where you're at too. But it's a big industry. It's an overwhelming industry, and we know this. You know, we all felt what you're feeling at one time, and
Mhm.
sometimes even still feel it. Okay, so it's not going to always completely go away. But what I suggest is what the host that you're with, and you're already with the host. I didn't realize that. If you're with the host or looking for a host, for those of you still looking, even make sure they do hold your hand through this process, have a really good onboarding process, especially those first 30 days that kind of tell you do this and then this and then this and kind of give you step by step and kind of guide you along. Remember, you're an independent contractor, you're your own business owner. So we can't really tell you what to do, but we can give you guidelines and what we can suggest that you do next, first, second, third. And just to answer your questions, training is very important. And that's what you should start with for sure, especially if you're new to the industry. It's some kind of a certification is really good. If you don't already, if you're not already on that path for one, maybe your host already offered an academy or something of their own, but the actual certifications in the industry are a good place to start as well. ASTA does a certification. I think you have to have more
Mm,
experience.
yep.
Travel Institute has Trip Kit. So those certifications are good. They give you that little boost of confidence. Then there's vendor training, and that's good as well. But don't get so caught up in your training that you get paralyzed right there, because there are other
Hmm.
things. Usually, your host will have a website. Maybe that's part of the host. Some hosts include that, some don't. You could get that set up. That's like your storefront these days. And really, people need a website if you're in business. And then start working on some different marketing plans. We're lucky in travel because all of our suppliers offer us so much marketing that we
Yep.
don't really have to come up with a lot of content. They give it to us. So there's a lot of things like that, but don't get so overwhelmed. Start out by learning how to book travel and then book travel. It's really that
Yeah.
simple. It
Well,
really is that simple. You learn the process of making a booking, and then you let people know this is what you do, and then you make bookings, and you can't forget that part. And then at the same time, you're getting all these things in line. And then, like I said, be with the good host that's going to mentor you and give you some guidelines and a nice onboarding process to step you through the way.
hmm. And Camilla, I know, so you're with a host right now, but Lori, I know that for your advisors, you have like a 30-day mentorship or something to kind of help for that first, it's actually longer than a month for that, but that feeling of just analysis paralysis because there's way too much information. Would you mind kind of sharing what some of the things are that you're like, okay, this is, day 3. Now this is what you should
Yeah.
be doing.
Well, we start them out by going through our Levarte Academy. Okay. So they'll go through that training. Once they're through that training, then this is all automated and tagged. And we know if you're done with that, then you'll get the next step, but not until you complete it, because everything is self paced as well. Right. So after you complete that training, we suggest, okay, this is how we do things. Not everybody does it this way, but we suggest the training, ALG Pro training, because
Mm-hmm.
that training was so well written and so developed for it's another training from the vendor, but it's so well written for new to the industry that it really teaches you how to make a nice tour reservation, okay? And really steps you through the things you need to do. But before that, even, I'm sorry, I'm getting them out of order. We have a 2-hour training that we do with me for 11 new that kind of goes over on a Zoom live your complete back office, all about vendors, because that's a big question. What vendor do I book for what? And we kind of have that all in your Levarte hub, and we go over that with you. Then we do a quick booking process training, how to qualify
Mm-hmm.
your client, which I love. I want to listen. I want to go look at the blog that you just posted on qualifying a client. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
And then sales training, how to close that sale, how to make sure. In the next question, I'll get into that a little bit more. But so we have that 2-hour training. Then we have a wave camp training, which is a couple day training, and then we have some training that we suggest that vendors do. And we also suggest the Travel Institute for certification and CLIA for cruise training. So, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have do your website, because we provide the website. So we have a step where they get their website set up, where they also, we like you to get in touch with another third party that does quotes, which I'll talk about that in the next question too. We get a discount and partner with Travify. And so we just have these things, and it's really a lot when you hear it all at once. That's why we bring it to you slowly when you're
Yeah.
ready for it in that first 30 day. But we don't stop at the first 30 day. We have something at Levarte Travel called a mentor desk, that anytime, as many times at no cost, you want to set up a 30, 45, or 60-minute private mentorship call, you can request that. Maybe it's your first booking. You did all the training. Now one's really coming to life, right? It's your first
Yeah.
booking, or it's your first cruise, or it's your first European or whatever, you can set up a mentor call and we kind of step you through that.
So, Camilla, I know we gave you a lot of information, so you're probably like, I am just as paralyzed
It's
as
more.
before. But I think the key thing is you're with a host now, reach out to that host agency if you haven't already. Let them know how you're feeling, ask what resources are available. If there's something like the mentorship over at Levarte, that that can help you so you're feeling a little tethered or tethered down a little bit. And then the other nice thing is it helps you build relationship with the host agency support team, which is also very important. But um, some of the things I think that can help in the beginning when you've got 500 irons in the fire is to do some blocking of your time. Say on Tuesday from 3 to 6 p.m., I'm going to work on my website only, and that is all I'm going to do. On Mondays from 9 to 12, I'm doing training. Do these time chunks, which can help for your focus so you don't feel so overwhelmed, and also help it so that you're really getting an intensive in that learning going on. But as you're getting started, I do have to say at some point, you're never going to feel like, I feel completely ready to start my agency and start booking. At some point, you have to like jump into the water, into the deep end, because like now
Yes.
you're playing in the shallows. You got to jump in and you're going to feel uncomfortable. Hopefully, you have a help desk like Levarte's where someone can walk you through the booking process or how to look things up. I also want to link to there's a great article that Nikki Miller wrote on how to ask questions of your peers on social media or like on your internal
Oh, yeah.
network.
That's a really good tool. Like, let your host agency know. I loved when you said that, Stephanie. Let them know you're feeling like this. They're going to want to know. Okay, I promise. You're not going to bother them by telling them this. They need to know. So that was a really good suggestion. And they may have things that you don't realize. Like, we have a private Facebook group that asking one another and that
Mhm.
collaboration, training through collaboration is some of the best training there is. And definitely you might find there's things out there that you don't know that they offer. So they're going to want to hear from you. So that was a good suggestion.
Yeah, and then my last piece of advice, because I find that when you haven't pinpointed your niche or pinpointed yeah, essentially, when you haven't pinpointed your niche, it makes it very overwhelming to get started. So, if you have a niche, the reason it's nice is because you know exactly what type of content you need for your website and who you need to tailor it to. You know which suppliers you're likely going to be using, which destinations you need to be taking trainings on. And if it ends up that you end up switching niches, that's totally okay. But having a niche in the beginning can just help it so it's not as
Mhm.
overwhelming for you and make it so that you can build the website, you can come up with your marketing materials, you know which trainings to take, you know which Facebook groups to belong to, like Travel Advisors Booking Europe. Um, so I would recommend those, Camilla, and I'm going to pop the link in, like I said, to the blog that Nikki Miller did on how to ask questions to your peers, because that's going to be really important too to get responses that are good from other advisors.
Yes, awesome. All really good suggestions. And it may not have made you feel a little more comfortable, but let me just give you this. No one feels comfortable the whole first year. Easy year, maybe two. So it's going to feel this way, but it's okay. It's okay. We've all
Yeah.
been there and it gets better and it gets easier. And just get help wherever you can get it. A lot of people are willing to help you, a lot
Yep.
more than you might think.
Yeah, and imposter syndrome is real when you're getting started. So be aware of that and just know you got to jump in at some point. But I think the time blocks, having a niche, having a host that has a program that is more stepwise for you can be really helpful. And I'm going to also link to our articles on, like I said, Mary's new article on how to qualify the client. Um, that'll help get you started.
Love those articles. That's excellent. I love when Stephanie puts her articles in. This is my favorite part. I can't tell you how much I have 40 years in the industry. I still go to Host Agency Review and search for articles for things I
That's
need
so
to
awesome.
know.
Well, let's see. So, next question. This is a great one, too. And this is going to piggyback off yours, Camilla. This is Christopher M. What I'm still not clear on are things like, how do I present options and prices to a client and give them time to make a decision? Am I supposed to reserve all of the options first to guarantee the pricing and then cancel the items that are on hold after? Or do you just present it, hope the prices don't change in the meantime? And then, are there other good places to find tips or suggestions for effective booking processes or practices? So,
Okay.
great questions. Lori, I know you're on the front lines and working with advisors is a lot. So, what do you think is best practice for those quotes that might change? Should they be putting them on hold?
Well, this is what I do a training on this, and I really believe in good training. Training on qualifying your client is very important because that kind of leads into this. You have to really qualify your client. And a lot of times there's an onboarding form that starts that, but a good conversation with your client over the phone or however you want to do it in person really makes a difference because when you can let really get more of a lifestyle questions, not just the normal qualifying questions, but go a little more into their lifestyle, develop a little more of a relationship. This is what sets us apart from online when they want to use an advisor. But what you really have to do is you have to close your mouth and you have to listen. You have to listen to them and hear what they're saying because maybe the most important thing to them is an ocean view. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe the most important thing for them is having a resort that there's lots of activities. Maybe you want to just relax. So you can't put your likes on the customer. You have to listen to what they want. Once you've really qualified them well and listened to what they really want, even asking them their best, their worst experience, and listen to what they say. Their worst experience might have been there were so many children there, it was driving me crazy. That might not be what you feel, but that's what they felt. Then end with their best experience because you want to end positive, but also you want to hear what they say is the best experience for them because that's what you're going to look for now. After you qualify this client really well by listening to them and not putting your likes on top of it, but what they're saying, then you go research and then you're like a busy bee and you are looking at everything. You're making sure it hits all their qualifications. You checking the price, maybe even checking to make sure it's the best commission for you. You're looking at everything. And then you should bring to your client one suggestion. And that's the hard part. Agents mess up with this, even very experienced. They'll bring so many decisions to their client, they've confused them even more. And they can already get that by going online. You qualify them. That's your professional job now, is to qualify that client for the best. And maybe while you're researching, you're going out and you're even talking to your peers. I have this family of 4, 8 and 4 years old. They want this. What do you suggest? You're researching every way you can. And then you go back to them with one suggestion. But then I always give a suggestion with a luxury upgrade in mind. For example, if I'm booking the Virgin and they didn't ask for a suite, but I gave them the price, this is the best one for you, this is what you needed. But if you get the cheeky corner suite, I just want to tell you this is the price for that. You'll be surprised 80% of the time they'll go for that better room. And if you didn't offer it, they wouldn't know. And as far as an advisor, we're not trying to upsell. It's our responsibility to let them know that they could get that for just that much more. So you give them this one, and then you have one backup in mind. If they're already going to, take this down, you have one backup on mind. Now, I have held the one that I'm bringing to them. I don't want to hold a whole bunch of inventory. And you always tell your client the price is always subject to change until you've put down a deposit and there's money on it. You always tell them that because guess what? It's going to. It's just going to. Sometimes you can hold it and you don't want to just hold a bunch of things, but you want to hold the one that you really think they're going to go for. And then by telling them, I put this on hold for you, I think this is the best thing for you, they want to be told. That's why they're coming to you. This is suiting your family for this, or if it's a solo travel, this is going to be great for you because this, and this is what I feel like is good for you. I've held it. and it's good they know you held it. That makes them have a personal attachment to it. And then I don't even mess with deposit. I go right into, I need payment by this date. But if you want to do deposit by this date, final payment this date, but ask for the money. Don't be afraid to ask for the money. They know it's going to cost money, but
Yeah.
sometimes the agents get tripped up there too. But mostly don't give them too many suggestions. Give them the one that you've qualified them correctly for, and that's what they want. Sometimes people just want to be shown a good trip and they're going to go for it.
Mhm. Now, for that, because when you're presenting the itinerary and the options, do you do this via itinerary builder? Because that's so popular nowadays. We
Yes.
have all the itinerary builders out there. Thoughts
We
on that?
do. We actually partner at Levarte with Travify. It's an itinerary builder, quote builder, and there's several of them out there now. But it just gives a nice professional look with that quote. You come across very professional. It's very easy, fill in the blank. It's not a hard thing. But it comes across to your client on an email. It's also something you can also put their documents in later. And it's very nice. It'll give nice destination information, guides on the hotels that you pick or the cruise line you pick. It goes into more detail and it's just laid out real nice. So it makes you look very professional as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Yes.
We'll link to, because we have an article that has all of the travel itinerary builders and compares them, the different features and things like that. So we'll link to that. It includes Travify in there. And then, because I know everybody's starting out, it is an investment. I think they're usually between like $30 and $40 a month, which is, considering how often you use them in your business, it's a great investment. But when you're starting out, if you're looking for something that's free, we do have a free itinerary template for you. It's very manual. Obviously, it isn't dynamic. If your flight changes, it doesn't change in
Mm.
your PDF document. But we'll link to that as well for those that are on a more shoestring budget. And then, well, Lori, this is, I'll tell you, because in the next couple of weeks, we'll be launching on the site new profiles for technology. So Travify will have a profile, all the other itinerary
Oh,
builders will have, and you'll be able to compare them. It'll have the metadata the way it does for host agencies, obviously different metadata fields, but you'll be able to leave reviews, read reviews, see demos, lots of exciting stuff.
oh, that's so neat. You're always doing more and more. Another thing is check with your host. A
Mhm,
lot of hosts offer things. You want to make sure you're getting all that your host offers, and you might not know that. Like with us, even though Travify, we get a discount with Travify, so it's much less expensive. That's one thing we have. But then we also have, as part of our CRM, which is part of what you get when you're with Levarte automatically, there's also a quote builder in there too. So make sure you're using all the resources that are available to you through your host, either
mhm.
discounted or complimentary.
Yeah, and then the last thing we'll say on holding is the other time you would want to hold is if the inventory is very, very low. If
Right.
it's if there's only a couple seats left on the plane, anything like that, you would want to put a hold on or make it time sensitive. Give the client a call, a text message, let them know that it is time sensitive.
Yeah, I totally believe in holding, especially this year, for example, in the cruise industry, inventory is really tight. You definitely will have a different price if you don't hold it. If you're able to hold it, you should hold it and then go back to them. It also makes them have a sense of, I'm already partly attached to this now. My name's on it,
Mhm.
all I have to do is give this payment and I'm going. It psychologically makes them feel like they're part of it already.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Well, one of the other things too I wanted to mention is if Christopher, when you're building your quotes, there are virtual assistant companies out there that specialize in working with travel agencies, like Tailored Assistant Services is one. Um, oh, I'm forgetting the name of, shoot. Do you remember the one they were a sponsor of Host Week this year?
Oh,
Lucia,
yeah,
Lucia.
yeah.
Um, So they have or virtual assistants that cost around, say, $30 an hour that can help you with making itineraries, putting things on hold, stuff like that.
It's
Well,
it's the fun part of what we do though. I love it. If you qualify your client really well and you get to go pick the perfect vacation for them, it's what it's all about.
then you're in the right field.
Yeah, yeah, you're doing the right thing. Good questions. Really good questions today.
Yes, and if you have questions, we want to answer them. So please submit them because we are running low. It's summer season. Everybody's out hanging out at the beach. You can go to hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15. We'd love to hear from you. Lori, thanks so much for coming on today, as always.
Thank you for having me. I absolutely love coming on. I learn something new every time myself, every
I
time.
learn something new every time I talk to you too. So what's the best way? We're going to link to Levarte's profile on HAR for people looking for more information. But is there anywhere else you want to send people?
Just our website, levartetravel.com. And if you have more questions that don't get answered looking at our website, there's at the very top, it says more information, and we'll set up a virtual call with you, a Zoom, and we'll talk with you directly whenever you want. You'll just schedule it right there. We also have twice a month. You can sign up for Learn Love Levarte. Actually, tonight at 5 p.m. Central is one. And
Cool.
we do it twice a month, and it's always the same. You'll sign up just to get on, and I just talk about Levarte. It's me personally doing about 15-20 minute little Zoom with you. And I usually have, a little audience on there, and you get to ask questions. So it's live. So if you have any questions, I'm right there to answer them.
That's great. Do you know, does your team put those on the events calendar? I don't think I've seen them
I
on
don't
there.
think so. We can do that for you.
Let's have them. We're going to link to our calendar, which these will be on going forward, because it'll be really easy for your team. I'll talk to you about it after this, Lori.
Okay, great. But if you go to our website, levartetravel.com, Levarte is real easy. It's e-travel spelled backwards.
Magical.
If you go to levartetravel.com and you can sign up for the Learn Love Levarte, that's going to be on tonight at 5 o'clock if you want to, or you can do a personal one-on-one call. However you want to do it, you can sign up for everything on the website. We really just want to answer your questions and make sure we're a good fit for one another if you're interested.
Right. Well, thanks so much, Lori. For everybody, this is who we have coming up in the future down the pipeline for our co-host. Next week, we have on Chad Burt with Outside Agents. July 5th, we're going to be doing the July 4th weekend with Travel Leaders 365's Lindsay. And then actually, we're doing a back-to-back Lindsay. She's on July 12th too. So lots of Lindsay in our future from Travel Leaders 365. So thank you everyone for joining us on this beautiful Friday. Happy weekend to you all. And thank you, Lori, for coming on as well.
Thank you so much. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Great weekend, everyone. And we'll see you next Friday.